Thai industries to produce energy to combat rising costs, schools no longer need to close for COVID outbreaks, and Prayut is back and has plans to address citizens hit by power cuts via radio. All that and more coming up on today's program. Sawadee ka. This is Thailand News Today. I'm Natty and I'm filling in for Sarah. Starting off today's news with some of our Prime Minister's achievements since coming back to office. The government has pledged to make human trafficking its top priority as Thailand renewed stronger trade ties with Australia yesterday. Prime Minister Prayut chan-ocha met Australia's new ambassador, Angela Jane MacDonald, at Government House yesterday to discuss several options, including trade opportunities between the two nations as they celebrated 70 years of diplomatic relations. Government spokesperson Anusha Burapha-Chaisri made it known that tackling human trafficking is one of Thailand's top priorities. The Australian diplomat welcomes Thailand's commitment to stamping out the trafficking of persons and said Canberra is fully behind the kingdom's crusade. The Australian diplomat welcomed Thailand's commitment to stamping out the trafficking of persons and said Canberra is fully behind the kingdom's crusade. MacDonald added that Australia's Counter-Trafficking in Person Centre of Excellence would play a key role in driving closer cooperation with their Thai counterparts. Thailand was promoted from the Tier 2 watch list up to Tier 2 in its annual Trafficking in Persons or TIP report in July. The kingdom believes it is making good progress and is confident of moving up to Tier 1 in next year's TIP. PM Prayut underlined Thailand's commitment to forging closer links with Australia and building a strong bilateral cooperation in trade, investment, security, and education, among other things. The Australian ambassador welcomed Thailand's commitment and offered to support the kingdom at the 2022 APEC summit this November. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Prayut chan-ocha suggests officials warn locals about flash floods via radio, as Thailand did 11 years ago for the flooding in 2011. The 68-year-old wants to use the radio to update citizens on the news should they lose their electricity. The Prime Minister joined a meeting via Zoom yesterday to discuss how to manage the flooding situation and assist its victims. PM Prayut asked every department to focus on how to manage the water situation in every area of Thailand. He urged each association, foundation, and non-profit organization to coordinate and support each other as Thailand did in 2011 when the country was hit by huge flooding. He said the healthcare centers had to remain accessible and power, tap, water, and phone signals needed to be available as much as possible. If all the systems failed, it would be hard to communicate and provide information. General Prayut added that officials need to have an action plan if parts of the nation's electricity are disabled. He suggested officials broadcast news via the radio as Thailand did in 2011 when the nation suffered from power cuts. Prayut made known compensation would be available for damages caused by the flooding. Prayut said, quote, "I will visit each area affected by flooding and support locals as much as the government can. The local officials, like sub-district and provincial administrative organizations, together with village leaders and community leaders, are Thai people. We need to help take care of each other," end quote. However, while Kun Prayut was visiting Khon Kaen today, a group of residents showed up with unwelcoming banners and chanted for Prayut to step down from his position as Prime Minister.
Thinking of investing, but don't know where to start? Ever heard of AAAFX?
What is AAAFX?
Good question. Look no further than AAAFX, your choice for trading and investing. Low commissions and spread with fast execution. They're trustworthy and have been offering services since 2008. You can invest using various deposit methods including crypto with negative balance protection and 100% matching deposit bonus. Choose AAAFX and enter the lucrative market of trading. Visit AAAFX.com.
With COVID-19 being downgraded to a communicable disease of concern, schools and universities will no longer require closures for outbreaks. Minister of Education Trinut Tiantong spoke at a press conference yesterday and said that new control measures won't include definite closures should an outbreak of the coronavirus affected a school. With many students often packed into a tight area, schools are still at higher risk than most locations. But the ministry has ended 3 pandemic notifications as of August 1st. They still advise some safety precautions as students interacting as part of a group is unavoidable. Organizing classes to be conscientious of COVID safety has been recommended along with the use of face masks in enclosed areas. The education minister reiterated a commitment to the safety and good health of all teachers and school faculty. They said more projects were in the works to address any concerns in schools. As of now, though, it is no longer necessary to close a school should a COVID outbreak occur. The minister said that accommodations can be made for a cluster, but don't need to be extreme as before. Full vaccinations are still low in a lot of young students. Out of 5 million students aged 5 to 11, only 1.1% have had 2 doses and a booster shot. But the last few months have sent a sizable decrease in deaths and severe COVID infections in young people, with fewer requiring a hospital stay. A survey by the Federation of Thai Industries, or FTI, revealed that Thailand's industrial sector wants to produce its own electricity to combat the rising costs of energy, but they need government support to make it work. The Office of the Energy Regulatory Commission announced in August this year that the fuel adjustment rate for electricity would be raised to about 0.93 baht per unit from September to December. The increasing fuel adjustment rate put the electricity price at 4.72 baht per unit, up from the former price of 4 baht per unit. The vice president of the FTI revealed last Friday that the 21st CEO survey of the federation was out. The main topic discussed was Thai industrial perspective on the liberalization of alternative energy. The survey was distributed among the FTI's 220 members, made up of executives from 45 different industries and 76 provincial industrial councils across the country. The poll revealed the most industry executives wanted to generate electricity for their own use, and as solar energy would be a perfect choice for the industrial sector. Most executives also agreed that the government should improve energy liberalization measures to make it more convenient for the private sector to generate its own energy. They suggest the government allow each industry to set its excess power to the government, and the industry believes that this measure would encourage them to generate electricity and help reduce greenhouse gases. The executives also urged the government to immediately set up a one-stop service department to take care of the registration and permission for electricity generation. The members of FTI predict that the energy demand for 2023 will increase by 10% because of the post-pandemic economy, increasing foreign tourists, and expanding exports. And lastly, the death toll from the fire at Mountain Bee nightclub in Chonburi province, eastern Thailand on August 5th has risen to 24. The 24th victim, a Navy officer, died from his injuries in hospital last night after fighting for his life for 2 months in the ICU. The news comes 1 month after the 23rd victim of the fire, a 27-year-old Army officer, died at Rayong Hospital. He suffered burns of 60% of his body and spent 1 month in the ICU before succumbing to his injuries. Initially, 13 people died inside the nightclub in the Sattahip district on the night of the fire, and 41 were injured. Many were put on ventilators to breathe. In the 2 months to follow, 14 more people died in hospital. It's unclear exactly how many people injured in the fire are still in hospital. The 27-year-old nightclub owner, Sia B, was released on bail for 300,000 baht shortly after the fire. Police later found evidence that the real owner of the nightclub was Sia B's father, Sia Yot, who was also released on bail. The nightclub was open without a license, had only one small exit, which was locked, and was lined with cheap, flammable soundproofing panels, which fell onto people as they tried to escape out of the cramped door. Among the dead and injured include several minors who shouldn't have been let into the nightclub in the first place, as they were underaged. Lawyers have assisted victims and their families to file negligence cases against Sia Yot, but so far not much progress has been made. You're all up to date now with the latest news in Thailand. Thank you for watching the show, and please click like and subscribe if you haven't yet for more contents like this. Have a wonderful rest of the day. สวัสดีค่ะ